Hello everybody, and welcome to today's video, which is going to be all about impatience when it comes to goals and change. And this is something that we all experience, and I just want you to know that it's something that I experience so deeply as well. Whenever I start a new goal, whenever I start a new initiative, I am so impatient to see progress. And a lot of us see that as a bad thing or a really painful thing. But if we can acknowledge that impatience is a normal human emotion, that is going to be really helpful. We can also be grateful that we're feeling impatient because it means that we really desire the result that we're going for. And we can be really grateful that we have something in life that we're desiring so much, that we have something to look forward to in the first place, okay? Beyond that, however, I do want to talk about 3 tips today for dealing with goals that take a long time to achieve and impatience along the way, okay? Tip number 1, and this is gonna make you all sigh and sound counterintuitive, but tip number 1 is to set goals that are long haul goals, goals that cannot possibly be accomplished in a short period of time, okay? For example, one of my goals this year is to lift 600 plus pounds at a powerlifting meet. That increase in strength that I needed to make that goal happen is not a short-term goal. It is something that has to last a long time. And I have been impatient to see gains all year. But what we know from psychology and what we know from actual interventions that work is that one of the things that's most beneficial for us as humans is exposure. When we expose ourselves to this impatience over and over and over again, when we set more long haul goals in our life, what that does is that actually gets us used to that feeling of impatience. And when we learn to be more patient with our goals, that capability, that skill of being patient translates into other areas of our life. Okay, so that is the first technique or tactic that I have for you today, is to actually set more long haul goals. Okay, before I jump into tactic number 2, I did want to take a second to tell you about something special that we are doing for the month of September. So for the month of September, the details are in the email, but you are going to get a discount if you sign with us in Alliance Coaching for 6 months. And it is exactly for this reason, this long haul reason, that we are offering this. First of all, our renewal rate is really high. So most clients end up working with us for 6 months anyway. But second of all, we are looking for people who are ready to actually take a sustainable approach to change and build skills instead of looking for quick fixes. And that, the skill building, is something that takes a good 5 to 6 months, okay? So if you are interested in adopting a long haul mentality, in truly building mental skills rather than, always buying the next Challenger planner or whatever, I would look into Alliance Coaching. This whole month, we're having that opportunity. We're also allowing people to pay in full this whole month. So that is something I want you to check out, okay? With that said, we are gonna move to tip number 2, which is when you're dealing with a long haul goal, give your brain a coloring book. So there is a reason, and not a physical coloring book, okay? There's a reason that at restaurants, particularly restaurants that know their food is going to take a long time to come out, that they give kids crayons and coloring pages. The reason is that they are giving those kids something to do because they know it's going to take a long time. We can do the same exact thing with long haul goals. So if you have a long haul project of, say, finishing your dissertation that's going to take 6 or 8 months or a year, what I would encourage you to do is break that long haul goal into different phases and focus on a different thing in each phase. So for example, maybe in the first one, you can really focus on optimizing your writing skills, right? Becoming a better writer. And then in phase number 2, you can really focus on finding the best flow for you in your work environment. Okay, so for example, in my personal life, something that I am working on is becoming tidy. That is a long haul goal, but each month I approach that tidiness a little bit differently, and that essentially gives my brain something to color. It gives my brain something to do that's going to help me stick it out and be patient for the long run, okay? Tip number 3 is to ground yourself in appreciation, okay? I know there's a lot of talk out there about gratitude, and gratitude is great. But when you are going for a long haul goal, it's really, really, really important to notice and appreciate the tiny, 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 we call it in Alliance Coaching, evidence of evolution that you are seeing. So one of the questions we ask regularly in Alliance Coaching is, what evidence of evolution have you seen this week? So for me and my tidiness goal, that might look like identifying one moment where I unloaded the dishwasher that I normally wouldn't have. That might look like realizing that my kitchen sink has been clean for 3 nights in a row. Getting a greater sense of appreciation for these tiny, tiny, tiny signs that you are approaching and making progress towards that long haul goal can be really powerful. I personally write down 5 things that I'm appreciating every morning when I do my self-coaching. That's a recent thing that I picked up, but it really helps me ground in that area. So that's what I have for you today. 3 tips. If you are in for coaching and you're ready to make a big change in your life, check out Alliance Coaching, and I will see you next week.